Watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Ministers of India and Singapore hold talks, elevate ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership, ink 4 pacts. Indian Prime Minister Modi also calls on Singapore President Shanmugaratnam. And let's take you live to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Singapore, where he has met former Prime Minister of Singapore, Goh Chok Tong. Goh Chok Tong served as the second Prime Minister of Singapore from 1990 to 2004. This meeting coming as part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's two-day bilateral engagements in Singapore. A new chapter has been written in the India-Singapore ties. Well, the ties have been elevated to comprehensive strategic partnership. A business roundtable is also expected in the day. Here we see Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with the former Prime Minister of Singapore, Goh Chok Tong. Goh Chok Tong served as the second Prime Minister of Singapore from 1990 to 2004. So India and Singapore have elevated their ties to comprehensive strategic partnership. The leaders met today, both sides bilateral delegation level talks. Extensive talks were held earlier in the day. They covered areas of advanced manufacturing, connectivity, digitalization, healthcare, medicine, skill development and sustainability. So the meeting between Singaporean leadership and the Indian leadership came months after Lawrence Wong took over as Premier, and here we see Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaging with the former Prime Minister of Singapore, Goh Chok Tong. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also met Lee Hsien Loong, and he has tweeted about it on his social media handle, saying that it's always gladdening to meet my friend and former Prime Minister of Singapore. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaging with the Singaporean leadership here, and what we are expected to see in a few hours from now, a business roundtable. The Indian delegation will have extensive talks with the business diaspora of Singapore. Goh Chok Tong has also served as second Prime Minister of Singapore from 1990 to 2004. And let's get you other important stories that we are tracking at this hour. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubles down on control of Gaza's border with Egypt. The US pushes for a new plan to break the deadlock with Hamas.
Conditions that we shall have for a permanent ceasefire must include a situation where the Philadelphia corridor cannot be perforated.
New Delhi hosts the International Solar Alliance's inaugural International Solar Festival 2024. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds ISA's membership, reaching a milestone of 100 countries. And India's Harvinder wins gold in archery. Dharamveer and Pranav Surma add a gold and silver in the F51 club throw. India's total medals tally reach 24. So as we were telling you, a new chapter has been written in the India-Singapore ties with the establishment of the comprehensive strategic partnership today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Singaporean counterpart Lawrence Wong held a productive bilateral meeting at the Singapore's Parliament House. Besides agreeing to elevate the ties, the two leaders extensively reviewed various facets of the bilateral relationship. Taking stock of the robust progress in economic ties, the leaders called for further expanding trade and investment flows between the two countries. They also reviewed existing cooperation in the fields of defense and security, maritime domain awareness, education, AI, fintech, new technology domains, science and technology, and knowledge partnership. The two leaders called for strengthening connectivity between the countries to enhance economic and people-to-people ties. They also called for acceleration in green corridor projects. The two leaders also discussed the outcome of the second India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable held in Singapore in August 2024.
गर्मजोशी भरे स्वागत के लिए मैं आपका हार्दिक धन्यवाद करता हूं। आपके प्रधानमंत्री पद ग्रहण करने के बाद ये हमारी पहली मुलाकात है। मेरी तरफ से आपको बहुत-बहुत बधाई और हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। मुझे विश्वास है 4G के नेतृत्व में सिंगापुर और अधिक तेजी से प्रगति करेगा। एक्सेलेंसी, सिंगापुर केवल एक पार्टनर देश नहीं है। सिंगापुर हर विकासशील देश के लिए एक प्रेरणा है। हम भी भारत में अनेकों सिंगापुर बनाना चाहते हैं और मुझे खुशी है कि हम इस दिशा में मिलकर प्रयास कर रहे हैं। हमारे बीच जो मिनिस्टरियल राउंड टेबल बनी है वो एक पाथ ब्रेकिंग मैकेनिज्म है।
India and Singapore also exchanged 4 documents in the fields of digital technologies, semiconductor ecosystem, health and medicine, and education. Let me quickly tell you the benefits of these agreements. An MOU in the field of digital technologies will facilitate closer cooperation between India and Singapore in the areas of digital technologies such as DPI, cybersecurity, 5G, and emerging technologies such as supercomputing, quantum computing, and artificial intelligence. The second MOU between India and Singapore has been signed in the semiconductor ecosystem partnership. Under this, India and Singapore will cooperate in the areas of semiconductor cluster development, cultivation of talent in semicon design and manufacturing. Dialogue mechanisms set up under this MOU will facilitate investments by Singapore's semicon companies in India. The third one is related to the field of health and medicine. It aims to promote closer cooperation in the areas of human resource development in healthcare and pharmaceutical sector. The MOU will complement efforts to promote Indian healthcare professionals in Singapore. The fourth and the last agreement is inked in the field of educational cooperation and skill development. India and Singapore have active collaboration in the area of skill development. This MOU will complement those ongoing initiatives. Earlier, ahead of their discussions, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was accorded a warm ceremonial reception at Singapore's Parliament House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also signed the visitors' book at Singapore's Parliament. Singapore Parliament, an important building and cultural landmark there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong, former Prime Minister. The two leaders discussed various aspects of India-Singapore friendship. The Singapore Senior Minister also hosted lunch for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Indian Prime Minister has also met Senior Emeritus Minister Goh Chok Tong a little while ago, and also has called on President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, President of Singapore. So this is Prime Minister Modi's fifth visit to Singapore as Prime Minister. He last visited the Southeast Asian country in 2018. Boosting ties in the area of advanced manufacturing, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with his Singaporean counterpart, explored synergies between the two countries at a semiconductor manufacturing facility in Singapore. Prime Minister Modi and his counterpart, Prime Minister Wong, visited AEM Holdings Limited, a leading Singaporean company in semiconductors and the electronic sector. The two leaders held discussions with the stakeholders on opportunities for collaboration between India and Singapore in the field of semiconductors. At the AEM facility, students from the World Skills Centre of the Indian state of Odisha welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The students are attending the Singapore internship program there. India's Prime Minister also called on Singapore's President Tharman Shanmugaratnam. So this is the second day of Prime Minister's visit to Singapore. And what we are expecting later in the day is a business roundtable with the Singaporean business leaders. And on to New Delhi now, where the inaugural International Solar Festival 2024, hosted by the International Solar Alliance, is being held. In his message, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauded the alliance for inspiring policy and action.
In such a short time, the membership of ISA has reached a milestone of 100 countries. Additionally, 19 more countries are ratifying the framework agreement for attaining full membership. The growth of this organization is important for the vision of one world, one sun, one grid. Friends, in the past few years, India has taken many massive strides in green energy. We were the first G20 nation to achieve the Paris commitments in renewable energy. The remarkable growth of solar energy is key reason in making this possible.
The Prime Minister added that the International Solar Festival brings the world together to celebrate the sun. He also said that popular mantras in ancient Indian scripture called the Vedas are about the sun.
The Vedas were texts composed thousands of years ago. One of the most popular mantras of the Vedas is about the sun. Even today, millions of Indians chant it daily. Many cultures across the world have respected the sun in their own ways. Most regions also have festivals related to the sun. This International Solar Festival brings the whole world together to celebrate the sun's impact. This is a festival that will help us build a better planet.
India is also celebrating Teachers' Day on Thursday. It marks the birth anniversary of India's first Vice President and the second President, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He was a philosopher, scholar and a teacher. He dedicated his life towards education and shaping up the youth. He famously said that the end product of education should be a free, creative man who can battle against historical circumstances and adversities of nature. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended best wishes on Teachers' Day to all. Teachers' Day, an occasion to express gratitude to all teachers who shape young minds. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Dr. Radhakrishnan on his birth anniversary.
I believe when a teacher learns, a nation leads. Teacher की सबसे बड़ी जो स्ट्रेंथ होती है वो पॉजिटिविटी होती है, सकारात्मक। और एक टीचर की भूमिका ही है जो व्यक्ति को रोशनी दिखाने की काम को करती है। मैं मन से मानता हूँ टीचर सर्वाधिक देश को बनाने में योगदान देने वाला ऐसा काम आपके पास है। आप देश बदल सकते हैं, जीवन बदल सकते हैं, आप सदी बदल सकते हैं, ये सामर्थ्य आपके अंदर होता है। विद्यार्थी का शिक्षक के प्रति आदर, शिक्षक का शिक्षा के प्रति समर्पण और विद्यार्थी और शिक्षक के बीच में एक अपनत्व का भाव, यही एक जोड़ी होती है जो जीवन जीने की कला भी सिखाती है और सपने संजोने की आदत भी बनाती है। देश आज भारत के पूर्व राष्ट्रपति डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन जी को उनके जन्म दिवस पर आदरांजलि दे रहा है।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a social media post on X, lauded research highlighting the impact of efforts like that of Swachh Bharat mission. He added that access to proper toilet plays a crucial role in reducing infant and child mortality. He termed clean, safe sanitation as being a game changer for public health, and he expressed happiness that India has taken a lead in this. Next, we take a look at other stories making news today. The Election Commission of India has prohibited media outlets from conducting exit polls during the 2024 Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections under Section 126A of the Representation of the People's Act 1951. The elections will be held in 3 phases starting September 18th. The decision aims to ensure a free, fair and transparent election process. 7 Indian fishermen who were released from the custody of Sri Lanka reached Chennai airport on Thursday. These fishermen, hailing from the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, were arrested for fishing in Sri Lankan waters. And ahead of the festival of Ganesha Chaturthi, artisans in Hyderabad are crafting eco-friendly Lord Ganesha idols made from cow dung. These sustainable idols are gaining popularity for promoting environmental consciousness. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Another school shooting in the United States leave 4 dead and 9 injured. 14-year-old suspect is being charged as an adult with murder. Thanks for staying with us on Lead India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. On to Africa now. The Democratic Republic of Congo expects to receive its first delivery of Mpox vaccine doses on Thursday, the head of the World Health Organization said on Wednesday. Congo is the epicenter of an Mpox outbreak that the World Health Organization, WHO, declared to be a global public health emergency last month. But efforts to curb the spread of the disease have been hampered by a lack of vaccines. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that the first batch of vaccines should arrive on Thursday, and the Democratic Republic of Congo government is planning to start the distribution during the weekend.
We expect the first delivery of vaccines to arrive in DRC tomorrow, donated by the European Commission's Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Authority, or HERA. DRC's Ministry of Health plans to begin deploying the vaccines this weekend. WHO is working with our partners to coordinate vaccine demands, share information on doses available, and ensure those doses are directed to areas where they can contribute to controlling the outbreak.
Next update from the Israel-Hamas conflict. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reiterated that his government will accept a long-term ceasefire in Gaza only if it ensures that a broader region between Gaza and Egypt is permanently closed to Hamas, preventing the group from using it as a vital supply route. Netanyahu was referring to the Philadelphia corridor. He cited concerns that the international pressure would prevent Israel from regaining control of the area in future.
We're committed to achieving our goals. All three goals: destroying Hamas's military and governing capabilities, releasing all our hostages, and ensuring that Gaza does not become a threat to Israel anymore. And all these require standing firm on the things that will ensure the achievement of these goals. And with God's help, and with our people's will, and with the courage of our soldiers, we'll achieve all goals. And all three of those goals, all three of them, go through Israel's control of the Philadelphia corridor. And it's obvious why. You want to destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities, you can't let Hamas rearm. It's obvious. So you have to control the corridor.
Hamas, on its part, lashed out at Netanyahu for attempting to sabotage a potential agreement by refusing to vacate the Philadelphia corridor in southern Gaza. Meanwhile, the United States says it will put forward a fresh proposal for ceasefire in a bid to overcome the prolonged stalemate between Hamas and Israel. The proposal seeks to address core issues that have hindered progress in negotiations. Meanwhile, Israel's military has released footage of a tunnel where the remains of 6 hostages were discovered. The news sparked widespread mourning, with thousands gathering in Jerusalem to express their grief and outrage. The incident reignited protests for demanding that Prime Minister Netanyahu take decisive action to bring home the remaining hostages. On to the US now. Horror struck a high school in the state of Georgia on Wednesday when a 14-year-old student opened fire, killing 2 students and 2 teachers before surrendering. Police said that the teenager suspect surrendered immediately and will be charged as an adult with murder. The accused was investigated last year for threatening to carry out a school shooting. The latest shooting was the first of the new school year in the United States and served as a stark reminder of the threat of gun violence in schools and colleges across the United States. The US has seen hundreds of shootings at schools and colleges in the past 2 decades, with the deadliest resulting in over 30 deaths at Virginia Tech in 2007. Still with the US, Donald Trump's campaign announced on Wednesday that it raised $130 million in August, ending the month with $295 million in cash reserves. This figure, while impressive, marked a slight dip from July, when the campaign collected $138.7 million, following a dramatic assassination attempt on the former US president. At the end of July, the campaign had $327 million on hand. The July fundraising surge came amidst intense scrutiny and challenges. Notably, the Democratic campaign led by Vice President Kamala Harris outpaced Trump's fundraising efforts during that period, highlighting a competitive financial landscape in the presidential race. Republican former Congresswoman Liz Cheney said on Wednesday she will vote for Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris, calling Donald Trump a danger. Liz revealed her decision during a panel at Duke University and reiterated her warnings of the dangers of a second Trump term. Citing the threat posed by Donald Trump, Cheney emphasized the importance of preventing his return to power. She declared her support for Harris, urging voters to avoid right-in candidates, particularly in crucial swing states. Next, on to the action from Paris Paralympics. India's Harvinder Singh backed a gold medal in para-archery in individual recurve open event to become the first archer to win gold at the Paralympics. Harvinder Singh defeated Lukasz Czyszek of Poland 6-0 to clinch the gold medal. With this achievement, Harvinder became the first and the only Indian archer to win a gold medal at the Paralympics and secure medals in 2 consecutive editions of the Paralympics. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on our different social media handles. And for those on the go, you can download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. So we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from my entire team here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.